Making sense in a complex world. I've been giving this a lot of thought. Competence and complexity. My name is Alex Grimshaw, and I'm the CLO at PPS International, and I've been spending quite a few years thinking about what's making the world so complex, what's making it so unpredictable. And one of the books that I've read that I thought was very helpful was Dancing at the Edge by Maureen O'Hara and Graham Lester. Both Maureen and Graham have been working with me to develop a curriculum to help people in organizations or just in life in general to develop an increased capacity for dealing with complexity. When we think about all that's happening around us, the coronavirus outbreak starting in November in Wuhan, China, and now having spread all over the world, it seems like the world is changing quite rapidly. And the question is, what exactly is going on? Is this novel coronavirus a first-time event? And of course, all we know is that things like this have happened before. So what are we in? Are we dealing with a crisis, a time of intense difficulty or danger? Are we dealing with complexity? So many moving parts, so many factors that influence what's going on? Is this considered a disruption, interrupting our lifestyle, the way we do business? Is this a break in continuity? And has it triggered fear and panic? And I think we could say yes to many of these things. But when we think about it, this event is what many people would consider a black swan event. And a black swan event is a metaphor that describes an event that comes as a surprise. It has a major impact on what's going on, and often, in hindsight, it's over-rationalized. The term's based on an ancient saying that presumed black swans did not exist, a saying that became reinterpreted to teach a different lesson after black swans were discovered in the wilds of Australia. So, is there a pattern here? Well, when we talk about pandemics, yes, there is a pattern. We can go all the way back to 1918 with the outbreak of the Spanish flu, and then fast forward to 1957, 1958 with the Asian flu, 1968, a pandemic of avian flu, 2009 swine flu, and now today, 2019, 2020, we have the coronavirus. So what we're actually looking at is what my colleague Graham Lester has labeled the interrupted society. It's an increased occurrence of disruptions and interruptions, signs that existing systems are unsustainable and they're vulnerable. It requires a broader systemic view of what's going on around us and the development of competencies for managing complexity. There's also this pressing need to transform existing systems to be more effectively responsive in terms of the level of agility and resilience that they have. So what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for ways to thrive. We're looking for ways to learn our way through the ambiguity and the unknowing. We're looking at how can we transform our systems and organizations to handle these kind of dramatic changes. Well, how do you make sense in a complex world? Well, first of all, we have to realize that there's a series of emergencies. There's the real emergency of, well, what's happening with this coronavirus? There's the conceptual emergency of how does that virus, which we can't see, affect everything that we know? And it makes me question, well, who am I? Do I have the capabilities to deal with these? This prompts some response. It's a psychological response. Some people respond with a neurotic denial, rigidity, trying to control a world that's uncontrollable. It also is met with a chaotic response, which is unpredictable, out of control, and sometimes can be violent. And what we really are looking for is a transformative response, the way for us to learn and grow beyond what we see, so increase our capacity to live in this interrupted society. What that requires is 3 literacies, and this is what Graham and Maureen talk about in the book Dancing at the Edge. The development of a psychological literacy, to be able to see and understand how what's going on is impacting us, and then choosing a path of growth. It also requires a cultural literacy, so we understand the system that we're in, build awareness. And it also requires us to build a knowledge literacy, knowing there's multiple ways of knowing. What this all accumulates to support is resilience thinking. So to make sense in a complex world, we have to be able to frame decisions in the context of everything that's going on. It also offers the potential to realize the goal of all resilience thinking, which is how can you be ready for anything without planning for everything? It enables an agile response to changing conditions without sacrificing strategic perspective. We live in powerful times, the VUCA world, and what we also realize is that by living in a VUCA world, we have to develop an awareness. That awareness is cultivated through the psychological literacy, the cultural literacy, and the knowing literacy. And we need to choose paths. We need to choose a path of growth, being culturally aware, and to identify multiple ways of knowing what's happening in the world around us. Through this analysis, then we're able to pick a path and develop a strategy that we can transform and innovate the organizations and the systems we're currently in. So I thank you very much for your time, and we will be following up this video with other videos that will support you in identifying how you can make sense in a complex world.